Hey, Guten Erev Shabbos. I know it's almost Shabbos and we're all running to get ready, as am I, but I wanted to hop on for a couple of minutes because this Shabbos is a special Shabbos. Besides it being the Shabbos, and we read Parshat Bo, which is maybe one of the two most consequential portions in the Torah where the Jews leave Egypt. If you think about it, the two greatest things that happened, the Jews leaving Egypt and receiving the Torah. The Jews leave Egypt this week. So it's a special portion with so many ramifications for us as Jews living in exile and the challenges we deal with. But it's also a very special Shabbos because tomorrow is the 10th day of Shvat. And on the 10th day of Shvat is the day when 84 years ago the Rebbe, a blessed memory, assumed the leadership of the Chabad movement. And back then the Chabad movement was decimated from the Holocaust, and it was decimated from Stalinism and from communism. And yet, although Chabad was really small, sometimes barely a minyan, the Rebbe had a vision. And the vision the Rebbe articulated in the first Chassidic discourse he gave at the first gathering when he accepted the leadership of Chabad movement. A leadership that he, by the way, did not want to accept, but he accepted it. And he said like this, and he quoted from the Midrash, that basically, Basi Legani Achoti Kala, that God says that when you come to the world is God's garden. And when you see, the Rebbe spoke in that discourse, that when you see darkness, when you see it so dark, and it looks so turbulent, and it looks so challenging, you have to be able to view it as the garden of God. What does that mean? That in the depth of the darkness, you are the one who sees a garden. You look at the shrubs, you look at the challenges, you look at the landscape, but with your patience, with your love, with your efforts, you could spruce it up and make it look beautiful, because ultimately it's God's garden. And the Rebbe tasked every chassid and every Jew that our mission is to look at a world full of madness, full of chaos, and to look and to nurture it with love, to water the garden, to pull out the weed, to nurture the flowers, the roses, to bring God's warmth and light and love to this world. And think about what happened. In 84 years, I think about this a lot, especially since October 7th. I think about it this Hanukkah, when the Jews were in such worry. And in every corner of the world, there was a beacon, a voice, a clarity coming from a Chabad center, where the Rebbe's messenger was continuing this message of saying, Basi Legani Achoisi Kala, yes, this world is mad, and yes, this world is full of chaos, and full of double standard, and full of anti-Semitism, and full of hatred. But we have to view the world as God's garden, and we have to view our world as us having the task, and the responsibility, and the mission to make it a better place. There isn't a place in the world you go today where you aren't touched by the Rebbe's love, by the Rebbe's vision, by the Rebbe's warmth, by the Rebbe's spirituality, kindness for each human being, every Jew, and me as one of them who grew up at his feet. And I think about it because I think it's time, high time now, that we each realize that we, not just the Chabad rabbis and rebbetzins and community leaders, but every single one of us, every Jew, has that mission. We have to look at the world and recognize that since God created the world, He brought the Shekhinah down, the divine presence down. And we, through our sins, it was pushed up through the golden calf, through the sin of the Eitz Hadas, and our job, through the sin of eating from the tree of wisdom, and our job since then has always been to bring that holiness, to bring that Kedusha, to bring that Shekhinah of God lower into the world, to make this world a place that God could be proud to call His own. Don't despair. The Rebbe didn't despair. 5 years after the Holocaust, when the world was so dark and bitter, it was never darker than that. And yet he didn't despair. He spoke with hope, with courage, with optimism, never looking at the negative, always looking at the positive, always looking at the opportunity, always for us to recognize that we are God's soldiers in this world, to bring light, to bring warmth, to bring positivity. So if you're in town tomorrow, come to Shul, celebrate with me this remarkable moment of 84 years of leadership that has revised the Jewish world in such dramatic ways that today, even in the non-Chabad world, you see that attitude and you see that continuation of this message, because the message is the message of God. The message is the message of our Torah. It's a message for each and every one of us. And may we, through our efforts, bring light and warmth and kindness to this world and make it a place that God could say, this is my garden. This is my home. God bless you. Shabbat shalom, and we'll see you tomorrow, whoever's in town.